America is not what it once was.
Oh, but America was never what it once was. That's the big reveal. That's the final lesson learned of the crumbling empire, when the people within it start to acknowledge that all the flowery stories, the highfalutin ideologies, the heroic tales that they grew up being taught to identify through were always just lies, were always just propaganda crafted by the ruling class as an excuse for their own existence, as a motivation for the peasant folk to continue soldiering on and carrying the weight. You're part of something greater than yourself. And you're hardly alone in this lesson. I mean, one of the most common tactics utilized is the appeal to a return to the good old days. Basically, every generation of samurai fetishized some previous generation of samurai, where men had real honor and things were the way they should be, and those were the real samurai. Countless Roman emperors and politicians and generals committed countless atrocities in the name of returning Rome to its former glory. Everybody's chasing a return to the good old days, but the thing is, there was no good old days. It's all just an echo of a thinly veiled lie told to keep people in line. The Roman Empire were never superior people. The Catholic Empire were never really doing the work of God. The British Empire were never really bringing civilization to the savages. And the American Empire, which is really just kind of a corporate consumer capitalist empire wearing an American hat, were never really fighting to spread freedom and democracy and peace throughout the world. They were all doing the same thing, really, which was taking things that didn't belong to them by force, and then making up a bunch of stories to make themselves the good guy while they did it. It's a tale as old as time of the strong taking advantage of the weak, of the lucky bully that found themselves at the right place at the right time on the world stage and were able to transform that moment of luck and prosperity and strength into a dynasty built on a foundation of lies and violence and deception. Now, I will admit that this current iteration of ownership class have been particularly crafty. They have learned lessons from previous mistakes. See, rather than trying to glorify themselves as noble elites chosen by God to rule over you, they've glorified the system by which they rule, the free market capitalist economy and the sacred democracy, and don't think it's a coincidence that people have been conditioned to conflate the two. They've taken a global economic system of control and oppression and transformed it into an ideology, nearly a religion, and it's written into the ideology that the system is synonymous with freedom and prosperity. That way they get to hide in plain sight as job creators, as innovators, as men of industry whose tendrils spread throughout the world, across borders, globally, through invisible economic means, insulating the empire itself from responsibility from the damage being done in its name, for the slave labor and the blood spilled and the theft of resources, for the necessary evils required for this empire to be able to grow and prosper.